If you're a Phoenix Suns fan, it was a thing of beauty tonight in Los Angeles. If you're a fan of basketball generally, maybe not so much.
Why not?
Because it was ugly. Game 4 win for the Phoenix Suns.
You used to the millennial style basketball where they score 130, 40 points and
I don't need that.
each other.
I don't need that.
Zeke and I used to this type of basketball.
I like competition.
I don't need that either.
I like competition, and I saw two teams competing.
Yes.
That don't mean you have to score a lot of points, but they were competing.
It was dramatic. Yeah, it was competitive.
Yeah.
But it was ugly.
What do you think playoff basketball is supposed to be ugly when you get down to this point? Because everybody know each other's tendencies right now.
That ugly?
Yes. Dude, I played for the Pacers and we played the Knicks. He played for Detroit. You talking about ugly, go back and look at some of our playoff games.
Well, they played physical. It wasn't always ugly. They played very physical.
We scored.
The 90s, that was a whole different.
It was ugly. I played against him. Trust me. You got battered and bruised and blooded.
Yeah, y'all did. But we averaged 108 points a game.
I was going to say, but they scored.
We did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Y'all got bloodied and beat up. Yeah. We averaged 108 points a game.
Y'all started holding in the locker room.
That's Isiah Thomas, Sam Mitchell. I'm Matt Weiner. Phoenix wins it 84-80. They shoot 36% and come out with a 3-1 series lead. Clippers shot under 33%, and the two teams combined were 9 of 51 from three-point range. On top of that, there was just a whole bunch of stuff at the end of that game in terms of execution, in terms of calls made and reviews. I don't know what we're going to see. Our producer, Steve Timlin, has put together all kinds of clips here from the end of the game.
He understands how to go to the line, make free throws, even though he missed one, but he still knows how to close out the game. The point guards, know how to close out the game, and Chris Paul did that. I thought the Clippers blew a lot of opportunities by intentionally missing free throws with a lot of time left on the clock.
All right, let's get right to the microphone in Los Angeles. Reggie Jackson first up among one of the uglier shooting lines of the night, 8 of 24. There were a bunch of them. He's not alone in that regard.
His look pretty good compared to some of the other.
Compared to some, not bad.
22, 6 for 22.
He had 20. His Clippers now facing elimination when they head back to Phoenix.
You guys stay positive at the end, even when you couldn't score after getting stops. How much heart does this team have? Is there more in the tank?
Definitely more in the tank. We're focused on getting one more game. Got to go in there into a hostile environment, but the most important thing is figure out how we can be better from this game. I feel like we played well defensively. I got to play better offensively. We got to move the ball, find some easy shots. And the easy ones that we did have tonight, we felt like we'll go in next game. So unfortunate break, but we're ready for the challenge.
Cam, you can go ahead.
Hey, Reggie. Obviously a tough loss. How difficult in the fourth quarter was it to generate? It was very difficult, obviously, to generate points. What was the challenge as you saw it? Was it from what they were doing, or what from you guys were doing?
No, they were playing very solid defense. They were trying to force us, funnel us to certain spots on the court. But we felt like we had some good looks. It just didn't fall. Some of them that we did have, we passed up on them. So we just put ourselves in late shot clock situations at times, and then a couple key turnovers at the end. So we feel like we can be better, but we're going to watch the film, go out here, and our main focus is going to Phoenix in a hostile environment and get Game 5.
Thanks, Reggie.
No problem.
Let's go to Joe Riddy.
Hey, Reggie, it seemed like in the fourth quarter, for 3-4 minutes, the game was stuck on 71-70 there. Just those trips down the floor, was it their defense or poor shot selection that you guys couldn't get over the hump there?
No, we had some good looks. Shots just wouldn't drop, unfortunately. They did a good job all night trying to corral the ball. They played well. They came out, they hit early. Felt like we took a good punch, came back and battled. But in that fourth quarter, we wish we could have got some buckets to go. Like I said, we're gonna watch film, figure out ways to be better. Hopefully, make some of those looks that we had in the next game in Game 5, and then just figure out another way to attack them offensively. So it's a game of adjustments. I think they made a great adjustment tonight. They were fortunate enough to come out with the win. Unfortunate for us, but this team has a lot of fight. We have a lot of fight. We have a lot of belief, a lot of faith in ourselves. And a never say die mentality, so we're ready to go for Game 5.
Go ahead, on. Reggie, I was just about to ask you, you guys have come back from down 2-0. You guys staved off elimination in the first round, but this is 3-1. And how does that feel any different?
No. I mean, we've been down before. It's tough. We've got our backs against the wall. We've been in elimination games. So I think this team's ready. This team's confident. We're going to figure out, like I said, how to be better. Myself especially, I got to figure out how to be better. Help the team find a great shot every time down the court. And I think we're just looking forward to this challenge.
Go ahead, Ramon.
Hey, Reg. You guys, this is 17 games in 36 days in these playoffs here. How are your legs? I know we're all looking at why there's so many missed shots in this game. Do you think fatigue contributes to it, either from your side or from both sides?
Yeah, it possibly can be. We're fortunate enough to be one of the 4 teams still standing. It is what it is. It's a battle of attrition right now. Guys are doing everything they can to make sure that they get their rest, that they're recovered, and they come back in the best possible shape that they can to find a way to be successful. But yeah, I mean, it's a crazy schedule. It's going fast, but we've all been dealt the same cards, so we know we got to get ready for this challenge on Game 5, and it's going to be a mental battle. It's going to be a mental battle, and then, of course, it's going to be a physical battle between 2 great teams.
Thanks, who got it, Sean?
Hey, Reggie. It's considering what you did on the defensive end, how much tougher does it make this loss, and how did you begin to start to turn the page?
Any loss is tough at this point, at this juncture of the season. So, but to play that well defensively, and like I said, to be stuck at 71-70 for so long, and not necessarily, break that and get the lead and try to push the score a little bit, it was a little difficult. Felt like we were battling uphill from the way that they started the game off tonight. Hats off to the way that they came out. Like I said, I think this team is resilient. This team is mentally tough, where everybody's already, I'm sure, focusing on what they're doing back there, recovering, making sure we're going to get ready to get this rest, get on this plane, go to Phoenix, and make sure we come out of there with a Game 5 win.
Thanks, Reggie.
Appreciate it.
Season, they're now 1 win away from the NBA Finals. Here's head coach Monty Williams.
It's something we've tried to rely on all season long, is just having an attitude of not giving in and being relentless in a number of areas, but our poise was tested tonight, and I thought we fared well responding to their third quarter when we couldn't score and the ball was going in and out. We were able to get enough stops, and I thought it was a great response to the talk we had yesterday about competing. We competed at the highest level that I've seen from us all season long, especially on the defensive end. And, we just have to, have a great deal of balance with our emotions and handle this the right way, not get too far ahead. Yes, we are 1 win away from where we want to go, but we got to look at the film, prepare even better, and step by step pound the rock over the next couple of days so that we can be better when we play this team again, because we know we're going to see a desperate team.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Dave McMenamin.
Coach, you said that it's hard to win in this league. Is that the epitome of that tonight?
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, playing a team like that in front of a crowd like that, and constantly seeing your shots go in and out, in and out, in and out. That was, a testament to the character and integrity and toughness of our guys. Every time out, it was all about defense. Nobody was talking about anything from the offensive side, nor should we, because we couldn't score. We just couldn't put it in the hole. And I thought DeAndre's presence, his effort, the rebounding, shot blocking, his communication on defense, switching out on smaller guys and being able to guard them. He was the catalyst tonight on the defensive end. I thought it was an unreal performance from him, and our guys rallied around him. And then the execution down the stretch to be able to, foul when we needed to and box out and, hit the free throws necessary to win the game. It's all the stuff you work on all season long. A lot of it paid off tonight, especially when you couldn't score the ball. But that was a slugfest. That's what playoff basketball is all about. So I'm just proud of our team, but also in the mode of, getting our minds right and preparing for a tough game, because we know that's what it's going to be.
When did you decide, Coach, that we're going to foul? We're going to foul them intentionally. At what point would you think we could?
Well, I think the analytics, there's different pieces of data that we've read. Some people say 7, some say 11. I think when you have Chris and Book who can knock down free throws, and Jay as an inbounder, when you can execute and get the ball in bounds, we decided to do it a lot further out from a time perspective. So I think we started at about 17, if I'm not mistaken. And we just trust Chris and Devin in those moments. And in that moment, it was Chris pretty much going to get the ball and understanding that he can't give them a jump ball, and you have to go to the ball. And then Jay being able to put the ball on the button. We just decided to trust Chris with the ball to shoot free throws, and then we just fouled. We didn't want to give them a chance to, get a 3 off.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, and then Kellen Olson.
Why you guys went up by May 16, the Clippers cut it to 1,
Yeah.
and they never got over the hump.
Yeah.
How important was that for you? And I think when it was 71-70,
Yeah.
both teams combined to miss like 14 or 15.
Yeah, it was unreal, right? It wasn't offense 101 for sure, but the poise, we've been talking about it all season long, understanding that they were going to make that kind of run. We didn't think we were going to miss that many shots, but one of our pillars is defense. I think every NBA team has a pillar that revolves around defense, and tonight it was on display. They missed some shots, but I feel like the pressure over the course of the game, when you compete like that, everybody's tired. And so it wasn't a surprise to me to see that many shots missed. But again, I thought DA's ability to anchor the middle and then his ability to switch out onto guys and guard. There was a skirmish under the basket where the ball was bouncing all over the place, and DA was right in the middle, and I think somebody tried to shoot the ball under the basket and he just swatted it. I thought his fingerprints were all over that side of the ball tonight, and we had a BOB, and we ran a pick for him, and Chris throws the ball where nobody else can go get it. DA goes and dunks the ball. Like he was all over the place tonight. That's the kind of player that he can be. He basically won that game for us tonight. He was tremendous.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Gina Mizell.
Hey, Monty, in the fourth quarter, when the offensive shots kept going in and out of
Yeah.
before that, things kind of spiraled a bit. You talk about poise all year.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like a game that's going to come to mind for you now when you think of poise in terms of the way you guys kept defending?
No doubt. I mean, we've been in these situations, but certainly not on this stage where you have a decent lead and all you're thinking is, let's just maintain it or increase it. It came out in the third quarter and scored 30 points, and we had a 19. And so at that point, you're just relying on your defense, relying on execution, but you're also relying on the mental stamina that we've been talking about for 2 years. We saw it on display tonight, and every time Chris and I made eye contact, he was like, both of us were like, we're good, that kind of thing. Him more than me, in those situations, but we've been talking about it, and it was just really cool to see our guys put that type of mental stamina on display on the road in a cool environment. Even though it was against you, our guys just stayed the course.
To quickly follow up, you went with Abdul for a couple of minutes there. How'd you like what you saw out of him?
I just think we need what he brings to the table. It's a tough spot for him to be in. I thought the drive he had on Kennard from the corner, like that's who he is. That's a tough first game to come back in. But I like the fact that he can guard, he can rebound, he's a big body, he moves his feet, and we think he's going to be able to help us going forward.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Mark Schwartz.
Hey, Monty, you kind of just touched on it, but we talked so much about Chris's value in crunch time, and usually you think of making a game-winning shot or in addition to a game-winning pass, but just to sink those free throws, to have the poise, all that. I mean, it kind of feels like this just captures why you guys wanted him and what he's meant to your group.
I mean, my job's not easy by any stretch, but when you have Chris in those moments, there's a level of trust that we both have. I know he wants the ball. I know he'll go get it. And, you know, not many guys are willing to go up to that line with confidence and knock those free throws down. You know, when he missed the one, I know he wanted to, you know, he was pretty tough on himself. But at that point, I was pretty confident in what we were doing as far as fouling and not allowing them to get off a three. But there's a great deal of trust in those moments, and Book wasn't out there with them. Usually we have both of those guys, and Jay is an inbounder, and Mikhail is in the middle, so you have him as a safety, but Chris wants the ball in those situations.
Next is Mark Schwartz with ESPN, followed by Jovan Buha.
Monty, along those same lines, the trust and the eye contact and the knowledge, the connection that you have with a guy who, by his own admission, I couldn't make a damn shot. How did you know that Chris would take care of this when everything was going horribly wrong on the offensive end?
He's just done it so many times. He did it when we were in New Orleans. You know, he's done it with us this season when he was with other teams. Like, he was always the guy to go get the ball. So, you know, he's not afraid of those moments. And it's all about winning for Chris. It could have been taking a charge. It just so happened to be a free throw situation. It's something we work on, something we walk through, but, you know, those guys like Chris just want the ball in those situations because they want to win the game. It's not about anything else but winning the game.
Next is Jovan Buha with The Athletic, followed by Greg Moore.
Hey, Monty, you talked about DeAndre's contributions, and I'm curious about the offensive rebounding specifically. He had 9, and then you also had Jay and Mikhail, who each had 3. How important was that with how poor you guys were shooting and just kind of eating the clock a little bit?
Yeah.
Especially in that fourth?
I mean, if you're going to miss that much, you hope to get some of them back. You know, so DA's ability to keep balls in play, you know, without going over the back, like, he's one of the best I've ever seen of, you know, getting up in the air and reaching over and tipping it to himself. But to your point, to have that many guys, or 3 guys get that many offensive rebounds is huge for us. It's something that I was not comfortable with before this season, going to the boards that much. I was always get 3-4 guys back. Kevin Young has pretty much forced us to do it, and it's really helped us this year, you know, unleashing Mikhail and Cam and Jay and you know, Torrey has been really good at that this season for us to get us extra possessions. So it was certainly valuable for us tonight with the way we shot the ball.
On the 2 questions are Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic and Gerald Brigay.
Thank you, Coach. Thank you for the time. Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. That 5-minute cold stretch in the fourth quarter where you guys were stuck on 71. So first, I can't remember this group ever being that cold. But do grindhouse games like that, do they favor you all or the Clippers? Are you okay going into a grindhouse defensive affair on Monday?
I'm not sure I'm comfortable with anything other than winning. But I think in those moments, it's not even about comfort level. It's just about winning the game and doing whatever it takes. You know, there was a game, I think, with Brooklyn had a game this year that was in the 70s, 80s. You know, when you have playoff basketball and it's physical and everybody knows your sets, sometimes you're going to have a game like that. I'm just glad we won it. So I'm not quite sure I'm ever comfortable in those situations, but I'm just glad we won it. And to be able to do it on the road is special. To your point, we haven't had games like that this year where we just couldn't put the ball in the basket, but I'm glad when we did have an output like that, we were able to win the game.
Final question is Gerald Brigay with Fansided.
Hey, Coach, kind of related. The three-point shot hasn't really been falling for you guys for most of this series. Have you been, I mean, obviously this game tonight was just a slugfest in that regard, but have you been happy with the quality of shots that you're getting from long range, or is that just a matter of kind of needing to make shots?
They've played really good defense on us. I mean, when you switch as well as they do, the reason teams switch is to take away the three-point shot. I mean, that's switching, in theory, keeps you out of rotations. Most threes are generated in transition off of pushing the ball or pick and rolls where the big dives, you go help and you give up a three in the corner or the wing. So when you switch, you tend to not give up as many threes, and they switch as much as anybody in the league other than Brooklyn. So I think that's part of the deal. They got up more threes than we did tonight, but they probably take more off the dribble threes with Paul and Reggie than most teams. So my hope is that we shoot the ball better the next game, but I hope our defense continues to hold form the way that it did tonight.
Thank you for the time, Coach.
Thank you.
Thanks, Coach.
Postseason, what's it like in that 5-minute stretch for you? How painful is it after miss? When Phoenix is missing two, opening the door?
Yeah, just talking to our guys, we had I think 12 possessions in the fourth quarter to take the lead, and just couldn't get over that hump. So I mean, it happens. I'm just proud of the way our guys competed and fought, all night, and holding this team to 34 points in the second half when they're powerful offense, and then we had a foul, I think, for 6 of those down the stretch. But our guys fought, we competed, couldn't make shots. Thought we got, took it personal a few times where we just kind of over dribble sometimes. But for the most part, when you're competing, that's going to happen. But like I said, I'm proud of our guys for the way we competed, and we just got to make some shots. That's it.
For the most accurate free throw shooting team in the NBA.
Say it again.
The most accurate free throw shooting team in NBA history this year. Does that come down to legs?
It could be, but it's no excuses. This time in the season, guys could be a little tired, but we just got to fight through it. And like I said, I have no problem with the way we fought, the way we competed. Every single guy on the floor gave us what they had, and offensively, like I said, we just didn't have it tonight.
Yeah, go ahead. How frustrating is it when you guys fight so hard to come back and then to kind of just not see those shots go down in the floor?
That's frustrating, but you got to just keep plugging away. There's nothing you can do about it. Keep getting stops on the other end, which we did. Guys, like I said, was great defensively tonight. And, offensively, just keep attacking, keep trying to get to the rim. I thought in the second half we made a little adjustment, with Zoo and the pick and rolls. It really opened it up for PG and Reggie a little bit to get downhill, which was good. And, you hate to see that, especially on your home floor, not being able to make shots and, fighting all the way back from 16 down to have a chance to take the lead. And, but, hats off to them. They made some big plays down the stretch, to win the game. And, hats off to our guys who competed and playing the way they did. So I'm proud of our guys.
Go ahead, Rachel.
So many of these games have come down to like this thin a margin. Can you see any plays where you can tip the balance so that this thin can be in your direction?
It's a few plays, here and there, but like I said, they've made the plays, down the stretch, with the 8 and tipping with .9, and tonight, like you said, we had a chance to take the lead, 12 possessions and didn't do it. So we had opportunities, like I said, and it just didn't fall for us.
Will you guys follow up with the league on the decision not to review the timeouts?
No, I'm not a big complainer, but it just, it's crazy because everybody talks about it because they got the review and got a .9 timeout, with 8 and then not review it. When it comes down the stretch to a close game like this, I think you just have to, just check out just to be sure. And they didn't do it, so that didn't have nothing to do with turning and changing the game. We still could have played better, but it's just part of it.
Go ahead, Al.
Ty, you guys have overcome 2-0 deficits. You guys staved off elimination in Dallas in that game 6. How does this feel different being down 3-1?
Just got to take it one game at a time. Just focus on Monday's game. That's it. Not focus on winning 3 games. Got to take it one game at a time, and that's got to be our mindset. We beat Utah, was #1 in the West 4 games in a row. So It's very doable. You know, we just got to make sure we're locked in, understand what we're trying to do offensively. I think we got to be a lot better offensively to beat this team.
Go ahead, Val.
Ty, when it comes to the offense, I mean, you saw at 4 minutes you're already down 14-2. Was it at that point going to just be a struggle just for the fact that whatever you wanted to do to start the game just didn't work and you were going to have that uphill climb for the rest of the night?
You just got to read the game and feel it out, Law, for the most part. But they got off to a good start. You know, I thought they came out with a great physicality on the defensive end, switched a lot of stuff, took us out of our offensive flow and offensive rhythm. And I thought, you know, on the offensive end, they got out in transition, made a couple of baskets, and kind of got them going, you know. So we didn't start the game as great as we wanted to, but, you know, it's going to happen.
It seemed like second half, the emphasis was in getting back to the paint, getting back to the rim. There weren't a lot of threes taken in that push where you almost made up the deficit in the third quarter. Was that something that you talked about at halftime?
Yeah, we just had to make an adjustment with Zoo and have him do something different. You know, I'm not going to really talk about it, but which allowed our guys to get downhill a little bit more and getting into the paint. So that was good for us. So I see that's something we can, you know, use going into game 5. But you know, first half I thought he did a great job of shrinking the floor. I thought Aiden did a great job of being up on the pick and rolls, and PG and Reggie really didn't have anywhere to go because it was a crowd. And so we made that adjustment in the second half, which was a little bit better for us. And you know, but you know, if we don't have it, we still got to be able to make the play and get off of it. But they was counting the pick and roll 2-on-2, which really didn't give you a lot of outlets, you know, once you ran the pick and roll. But we had some good shots early we didn't make, and that's just part of the game.
Go ahead,
Shane Young, you can go ahead.
Hey, Ty. How challenging was DeAndre tonight on the boards in particular? And did you see anything that you all could have done better in that regard to kind of limit him?
I mean, very challenging, you know, and when you paying a lot of attention to CP and Devin, you know, those guys attacking the basket, attacking the rim, you know, our big's going to have to come over and help. And, you know, having a smaller guy trying to box him out has been tough for us all series, and we know that. But, you know, it's just part of it. We got to be more physical. I've got to do a better job. And then we got to do a better job just handling the pick and roll 2-on-2 so Zoo can kind of get back to his body to try to limit his offensive rebounds.
And there he is, one win away from his very first NBA Finals.
Man, it was a lot. It was a lot. It's emotional, it's loud, tired. Hell, book filed out, I didn't even realize it. But it's just how our team been all year long, you know what I mean, showing that grit and fighting and staying together.
Next up is going to be Rachel Nichols with ESPN, followed by Ramona Shelburne.
Hey, Chris. When you look at the difference between winning and losing in a lot of these games, it's so tiny. What do you think it is about your team that when the margin is so razor thin, you guys are getting all those little tiny edges?
Just poise and the togetherness. You know, that ball can bounce either way. And I think a lot of times teams are reflective of their coach. And mine has, you know, been so detail-oriented all season long. You know, at practice, we watch talking about box outs, talking about end-of-game situations, and you know, we'll take it. We'll take it tonight.
Next is Ramona Shelburne with ESPN, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
Chris, you know, we always talk about boys with you. I've seen you hit a lot of those free throws in this building over the years. Your guy back there, I guess. But, when I ask people about him, people say he has that same kind of poise too. Have you noticed that coming in this year and throughout the games like this?
Nah, I knew that. It ain't about noticing that. Watch a lot of basketball, man, and so it's a lot of really good players in our league that don't always get the opportunity to show what they can do. You know what I mean? And I didn't own Book since before his rookie year, and like we know each other. And when we play against each other, we almost fight, you know? And that's because I know how competitive he is, and that's why I think this has worked, because, you know, there's no ego, you know, from either one of us. At the end of the day, we just want to win.
Next up is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Dave McMenamin.
Yeah, Chris, played a lot of basketball in your career. Have you ever seen a stretch where neither team can make a shot, intentional missed free throws the whole bit? Have you ever been a part of anything like that?
Probably not. I think it was 14-15, fourth quarter. I got a free throw to end the game. Damn, missed it. You know what I mean? But then I got a chance to do it again. It was a crazy emotional game. The fans were great, and it's good. It's good to get that win, and now going back home. I didn't get a chance to feel that energy in game 1 and 2. I was at the crib with my family, so I'm excited to go back to Phoenix. I ain't been in Phoenix in a while.
Thanks, Chris.
Next is Dave McMiniman with ESPN, followed by Gina Mizell.
Chris, over here. Yeah, we didn't get to ask you the typical series preview type of questions because of what you were going through. So the fact that this win, one of the biggest of your career, comes in this building against the franchise you played for so long, was there any extra layer to it?
Not till the job is done. Not till the job is done. You know, we can talk about all that then, but right now, it's just laser focused. 3 wins don't win the series. So right now, we did what we came here to do. We wanted to get one of these, and now we got to stay focused and be ready to go back to our crowd. Big shout out to the Phoenix fans. Jay, our trainer, showed us the arena. I didn't know they did like a viewing party, you know, so that's super duper dope, and we need one more win.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, and then will be Kellen Olson.
Hey Chris, I mean, you've been in so many clutch moments in your career, but in this type of game, like, how have you learned to calm your mind and just what was the process to like getting to that point where you are so poised in those moments?
I was mad I missed the middies that could have put us up 5 or 7. But it's so crazy, man. When I went to the free throw line, I thought about my son. You know, I talk to my son all the time about the importance of shooting free throws. And he's really getting into basketball now, and he's training, and he texted me earlier today telling me about his game this morning. And I seriously went to the free throw line and was like, how the hell I'm gonna tell him to stay poised if I don't do it my damn self? Right? Like, dead serious. So that's what was dope, was after the game, looking up there in the suite and seeing my son excited, you know, so.
Next is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, followed by Chris Haynes.
Hey Chris, to bounce off Dwayne's question, in the fourth quarter when things were spiraling for you guys, you kept defending on the other end that whole time. Monty talks about poise all the time. Did you feel like that really shined through in those moments when you guys were able to quickly reset?
Absolutely, man. DA and the way he was in there battling and getting rebounds, and Jay got a big steal down there when I think they hit Zubac, and I was like, dang, he about to get a dunk, and then the ball just magically appeared, you know. So that's trust. That's it's a lot, man. It's been a emotional year for everybody, not just our team, but especially our team, guys, family things, and all this. So it's definitely been a process, and we having fun.
Next is Chris Haynes with Turner, followed by Melissa Rowland.
Chris, you said the job isn't done. A few years ago, you've been in this position where you were 1 win away from getting to the NBA Finals. With that in your background, is there a new perspective that you have since then with this new opportunity that you have right here?
Everything happens for a reason. You know, everything happens for a reason. Don't dwell on things. You always remember. You know, but I'm here now. Excited about this opportunity, and all I can worry about right now is Game 5.
Next is Melissa Rowland with Fox Sports, and then Mark Medina.
Hey Chris, you alluded to this earlier, but how much of a difference did DA's defensive presence make for you guys tonight?
Man, shoot around this morning, DA told me, he said, "See, you stay out there, I got all this in here." You know, and I said, all right, big fella, you got it. You got it. And to see his growth, man, I get goosebumps. Seriously, man. We done had some heated conversations this season, especially earlier in the season. But, man, I genuinely love him. You know what I'm saying? The person that he is, and to see everything that's coming to him and the national audience getting to see who he is and why he was the #1 pick, I couldn't be happier for him.
Final 2 questions are Mark Medina with USA Today and Dan Woike.
Hey Chris, good to see you. On that note about DeAndre, before you joined the Suns, what were your impressions of his game from afar? And you mentioned that he had conversations with this.
might be dating myself a little bit, but I coached against DA. Yeah, my AAU team, Team CP3. I coached against DA in the EYBL. You know what I mean? So that was sort of my experience. You know, we smacked him one time, and then one time he got at us. But you know, didn't know much about him, and I just had to try to build a relationship with him. And to see where we at now, like I said, it's been a journey, and I'm happy we all doing this together.
Final question is Dan Woike with the LA Times.
Chris, what's up, man? You've seen some pretty weird stuff in the playoffs. What has it been like watching your team handle the .9 game with the lob, and then watching you guys kind of navigate a pretty crazy fourth quarter right now? And what does it say about a team that's never even been in this position largely?
Says a lot, man. Says a lot. Still, like I said, we got a ways to go, but everybody always talks about, oh, it's a young team, it's a young team. I think back to when I first got in the playoffs, sometimes it's best like that because you just hooping. You know what I mean? You ain't thinking about all this and that. And we got a young team, but with some old souls, especially Book. He like an old man. He the oldest 24-year-old I ever met in my life. You know what I mean? You see him with his old schools and all that. But biggest thing, he know the game. He know the game. He watch every game every night just like me. And so, you know, it's cool to be on this journey with Mikal Bridges, all this campaign who've been unbelievable. We just next man up type of team. Yep.
Thank you for the time, Chris.
Book, you got it. All right, we'll go.
Thanks, Chris.
Next up right here is going to be Devin Booker.
Chris Paul, a win away from his first NBA Finals if the Suns can win again on Monday night against the Clippers in Phoenix. And now Devin Booker, the young star that CP refers to as an old soul.
With Greg Moore with the Arizona Republic.
What's up, Book? The nose doesn't look that bad, man. It's coming along, man.
I appreciate that, man.
No doubt, dude. Hey, listen, man, I want to know what you learned about your teammates during that cold stretch, man. It was like 5 minutes. You couldn't get a bucket. You were stuck on 71. What did you learn about your teammates during that time?
Well, we've been preaching all year. You know, we have to rely on our defense. So, you know, I think both teams were stuck at 70 and 71 for, you know, a few minutes. I think we got a good couple opportunities. A lot of them rimmed in and rimmed out. But, you know, you just get back and you play defense. You know, you don't let your offense affect the way, you know, that you guard. So that's what we relied on all night. You know, I think it was an ugly game from beginning to end, honestly, if you're talking from a scoring aspect. But, you know, we dug in and got stops, and it's the playoffs. Any way you can come out with one.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, and then Rachel Nichols.
Yeah, Devin, when did you decide you were going to ditch the mask?
I think I took it off after I missed the layup. You know, I said after the game, you know, if I get hit again, which you don't realize how much you get hit in the face until you take it off, that, you know, I can get surgery after the season. And, you know, I'm not blaming anything on the mask, but, you know, I haven't played basketball with the mask ever in my life. So, you know, it takes some getting used to. And, you know, at that point in that time, you know, I didn't want it.
Lastly, I just wanted to ask you, sitting there watching the end of that game, what would that had to be tough?
Yeah, tough, you know, because I know I let my team down in some aspects of grabbing some pretty cheap fouls early in the game. And, you know, you're not thinking about that early in the game, how it can affect the end. So, you know, it's a learning lesson for me. And it's easier to learn after a win. So, you know, go back, watch some film, and just clean up the little mistakes because, you know, if you want to win big, how we're trying to, you know, I got to be out there for my team.
Next is Rachel Nichols with ESPN, and then Dave McMenamin.
Chris Paul, as you know, just called you the oldest 24-year-old he's ever met. I think that's a compliment. I'm not entirely sure. What do you think it is about you, the way you grew up, the way you have spent these last 6 years in the league, that has made you an old soul, as he put it?
I say just experiences, and like you said, just the way I grew up, having an older brother. You know, wanting to hang out with him and his friends all the time, and then I moved to Mississippi with my dad, and I'm with him and his friends all the time. And those are the environments I've just been in. Those are the gyms I've been in, and, you know, it's always been their own conversation. So even when I spent time with them guys, you know, I listen more than I talk. You know, so I just pick up the way people carry themselves, and,
I was around some really good people growing up that, they nurtured me and taught me a lot.
Do you not intend to wear the mask then the rest of the way here?
I don't know. I haven't decided. Like I said, you don't realize how much you get hit in the face till you take it off. So, I might have to go back to it. But, at that time, in that place, I didn't want it on.
Next is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Gina Mizell.
I'm sure for yourself, being one win away from the NBA Finals is a big deal. You have to watch it now and all that. But is there any sense as a group for this opportunity for Chris?
Of course.
Can you verbalize what that means for the group to maybe 16 years in, probably give him his chance to be on this team?
Yeah, like Chris said, I watch every game, and that was before I was in the NBA. So I've been a fan of his for a long time, and I've learned so much from him this year. And I always talk about off the court how he carries himself, and he's just a true professional, at every level, at all times. So I have a lot of respect for him as a man, not even as a basketball player, and just understanding how bad he wants this and how much time he's put into it. Like you said, 16 years, that's a long time. And I think when we made the Western Conference Finals, he was like, I've only been here one time. So we know how bad he wants it. Same with Coach Monty. I get that same feeling from him. And me and DeAndre are sitting here. Mikhail, it's our first time in here. So it's a little spoiled, but it came with a lot of work. But we definitely have his back.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Cameron Cox.
I have kind of a broader question for you. You mentioned a couple times during the playoffs how during the summer you tried to simulate what this was going to feel like, and try to just mimic or put yourself in the right mindset or visualize. That seemed way easier said than done. So how did you do that, and how do you feel like it's paying off now?
Just imagination. While you're out there by yourself, obviously you can't mimic the crowd or everything that's going on, but you like a kid again. You just imagine yourself in those situations. You look up at the shot clock. You pretend it's winding down. So it's just little things that that's how you get the most out of your workouts. So me and my dad talk about all the time is being efficient with your work. And when you're in there taking every rep serious as if it is the playoffs or as it is the finals, you get some really good work in.
Does it feel like it is paying off? Okay, even though I am in this situation for the first time, it feels familiar in a weird way?
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, it's basketball, and I've watched a ton of playoffs, but like I said, you can't mimic the crowd, the atmosphere, can't mimic picking up your sixth foul. That's frustrating, but as far as the game, yeah.
Or having to set a screen with a broken nose.
Exactly.
Next up is Cameron Cox with 12 News, followed by Ramona Shelburne.
Hey, Book, you guys are one win away, obviously, from going to play for an NBA title. Do you let your mind go there just yet, or what's the thought process after this one?
We know it's on the table. We know it's there. We can't hide that, but we've kept the same mindset the whole playoffs and the whole regular season. Honestly, is building this thing brick by brick, game by game. So, we're not looking too far ahead or saying who we're going to get in the finals or anything like that. But we definitely understand that, if we win the next one, we're headed to the NBA Finals.
Next is Ramona Shelburne with ESPN, followed by Melissa Rowland.
I was talking to Tyson Chandler, and he was saying when you first came in the league, you were always asking him, what's it like in the finals? What's it like getting the conference finals? Do you remember any of the advice he gave you, and does any of it come back around to you?
Oh yeah, I asked Tyson more than that. I asked pretty much anything. I asked him about the Olympics also. I always credit my veterans. People talk about my situation that, I was in and how it was unfair to me, but, I always see the bright side in it, and, being able to develop a relationship with somebody like Tyson that, has accomplished everything that I want to do in this league. So I always leaned on him, and I still do. That relationship's here forever, but, he's also Chris in that way in their approach. They don't get happy, over the little things. They're in it to win big, and that's the only thing that they want. But he says once you get a taste of it, there's nothing else that you're gonna want in the world. So trying to get there.
Next is Melissa Rowland with Fox Sports, followed by Kellen Olson.
Hey, what was your reaction when you showed up today and you saw DA wearing a shirt emblazoned with a photo of your face after you suffered the broken nose? What did that mean to you?
I honestly didn't see it till I seen her on social media. I was on the same bus with him. I looked at him once I seen him. I was like, oh, that's hard. He was like, I was hiding it from you on the bus. I was sitting like this. So obviously, it's like a replica of Steve's moment. So that means a lot, man. That's my little big brother. We have a relationship that's bigger in basketball, and it's taken time to develop it. And I'm so proud of him and the strides that he's taken, and for him to honor me in that way, that's love for real.
Next up is final three questions are going to start with Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Jovan Buha.
Hey, Book, to go off Gina's question and like that mental preparation, Monty mentioned earlier in the week physical preparation for you two and just the setup you have at your house. I imagine this was the stage of the season you were thinking about all the way back last summer when you're just preparing your body. How do you feel physically right now this deep into your first postseason run?
I feel good, honestly. And it does. It takes it's time consuming, taking care of your body. I have a whole routine and operation at my house with infrared sauna, light stem bed, so a whole bunch of things. And David Crew on our training staff, we put a lot of time in. I tell him all the time, I talk to you and see you more than I see my mom. So we're always together, and he's on the same page as us. He understands how important our health is, and he puts in the extra time, and he spends a lot of time working on me.
Final two questions are Jovan Buha with The Athletic and Mark Medina.
Hey, Book. DeAndre had 9 offensive rebounds tonight, and Monty was saying that he's one of the best he's ever seen at just going straight up over guys and not fouling, and we're back. So I guess how important was that for you guys in a game that you did shoot 36% overall and kind of just winning the margins like that with his hustle and effort?
Yeah, that's his nickname, dominating. He definitely earned that tonight. In many ways, and I heard Chris tell you guys about shoot around, just how animated he was, and saying this is my paint, I'm protecting it tonight, and doing that on both ends. I know, how it makes a team feel when you give up offensive rebound. I think we gave up 7 in the first quarter. Those aren't easy plays for a team when you guard a whole possession and a team gets a second chance basket, and it's hard to keep him off there. His stature, his build, and just his motor. He works, and I say it all the time. I think he's finally realizing how big and strong and how agile and he can move, and it's paid off big for him and us.
Final question is Mark Medina with USA Today.
Good to see you. Build off without about DeAndre. Obviously, you had that huge lob the other night, but what other kind of pivot points have you seen in him that showed, hey, he's put his game at another level?
Oh, dude, everything. He's brought it to a whole nother level this playoffs, from angles of screening to understanding the game, not understanding just who his matchup is, who we're guarding, and what they like to do. You're going to see a lot of pick and rolls at him, every single game. That's just the offense of the NBA, and, just understanding tendencies of different players, of not the ones that he's guarding. And that usually takes a few years, so him to grow up on the fly in this short amount of time is very impressive. But you see him putting the time in off the work. I mean off the floor. I don't know how much basketball he watched prior, but he comes up to me about every game now, and conversations that we didn't have in the past. So I know he's tuned in. I know he's focused, and like Chris said earlier, Monty's so detail oriented that you have to be like that, and understanding that little plays, understanding what people like to do can, make or break a game. So, that's really impressive with him.
Appreciate it.
DeAndre Ayton, maybe the best player on the floor tonight for the Suns, 19 points and 22 rebounds in the Phoenix win.
Yeah, what's up, man? Greg Moore, Arizona Republic. All right, I don't know what's better, man, the game or the shirt. Dude, that's tough.
Good shirt. Shirt's way better. A little motivation, to come in. My boy got all banged up, so, just send a little message.
Hey man, what did you learn about yourself and your teammates during that cold stretch in the fourth quarter? I guess it was 71 that you guys were stuck on for a while. You ended up winning a tough game. What did you learn about yourself and your teammates?
I'll start off with my teammates. We're really relentless. We have a thing on the team where something called togetherness, and we play as a unit. We come together, and we just fight over adversity and fight over fatigue. Our mental stamina was there today, and we did a good job of that. And me, I learned I could keep going. There's another level. I learned that I think I reached the next level that I really need to be at this level when it comes to competing.
Next up is Kellen Olson with Arizona Sports, and then Rachel Nichols.
Hey DeAndre, I know how much you love watching film, so with like a playoff series where you can kind of dissect things along the way, how much are you enjoying that process of just watching things evolve and making your own adjustments individually like that?
I like it because you can, we see what teams like to do and they see what we like to do. So, just seeing how, they come up with different coverages to encounter our plays and stuff like that, it's really lit. I'd say with me, just knowing teams' tendencies, knowing their bread and butter, and, just stopping it. I won't say cheat the play, but, just predicting it and, just having a sense of urgency,
Next up is Rachel Nichols with ESPN, followed by Dwayne Rankin.
All right, now that you've got so much playoff experience, what do you know about closeout games?
It's important. Every possession counts. Really from the jump ball, but when it comes down to that and fatigue is kicking in, everything counts. And the whistle might not go your way. 50 balls is really precious. And just having that mental stamina again, just really having that mindset that it's not going to go your way and you have to play through it. Calls aren't going to be called, and making free throws at the end. I really give my props up to C because he really got some ice in his veins. You know what I'm saying? He knocked it down and carried his own.
With that sort of that ability to, even if things don't go your way, to keep fighting, is there something in your personal past playing on the court, or anything in life that kind of taught you to learn how to do that? Because some people can't do that.
This is basketball. I went through tougher things than this through life. You know what I'm saying? So just, overcoming fatigue, a little adversity, I'm blessed. You know what I'm saying? And to have a team to really keep my head together, and I got their back and they got mine, and the coaching staff where, their sense of urgency was I really liked it today, and they really locked in on, just making sure they was alert and know what was coming. As you can see at the end of the game, there was a lot of subs. I ain't never been through none of that, but I understand what they were trying to do, and I really enjoyed all of that.
Are we gonna get booked with the shirt with your face?
Hopefully.
Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic, followed by Gina Mizell.
Yeah, DeAndre, you set a career high for rebounds, 22, and 9 on the offensive end. Chris said before that shoot around, and you were like, I got the paint tonight. How much was this personal for you to be that way on the glass?
I'm gonna be honest. I got outplayed last game. Zubac did a great job of controlling the glass and being a presence down on both ends of the floor. And it was up to me to just get in front of that or compete with that or challenge that. And I just tried my best. That's about it. I just really tried my best to just be relentless on the glass and really tried to control both ends of the floor with my presence, talking, and just with my effort, second effort.
At one point, you guys were just, neither team can make a shot. Like you had tip-ins that usually you're dropping and those aren't going. At what point were you like, what the hell is going on?
Yeah, I was like, this is finals basketball right here. This is really what it is. Like, it's a good shot, but your legs ain't there. You look good, but it ain't, you know what I'm saying? And you just got to stick with it. Keep doing what you do and don't really react on things like that. And as a young team, we got some vets on this team to, really buckle up, and they know this was going to happen. And, just got to keep pushing and keep, chipping down.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com, followed by Dave McMiniman.
Hey, DeAndre. Monty and a couple of your teammates have mentioned that they've seen your level of focus just go to a whole new level during the playoffs. How did you go about doing that? Did someone help you get there? Was it just you in your own head? It's like what has allowed you to get to that intense level of focus that's required?
Honestly, the world having me as a question mark in the playoffs, that got to me a little bit, and I wanted to change that. That's about it. Just a question mark on me, and I just wanted to change that and prove everyone wrong.
What does that require every game?
Consistency, simple, point blank period, consistency. Just approaching the game the right way to start off, and just doing the right things, getting ready for the next game, and making sure you prepare, watching film heavily, knowing what teams are going to throw at us. Asking coaches questions, telling them what I see as well, and just making sure I'm comfortable going into the game.
This is Dave McMenamin with ESPN, followed by Melissa Rowland.
DeAndre, Chris paid a pretty rare compliment to you this game. He said that he clearly gets goosebumps when he's got your growth, and he said he genuinely loves you.
Yeah.
What are your feelings for Chris as a teammate, and what do you think about the possibility of, he's had 16 years with the team, you could be on the group to get him to the finals for the first time?
Well, I love CP, man. Like I said, that's really the only teammate that really pushed me, like big bro type push, knowing what I got and that I never thought that I had. I think he was the best thing that happened to my career. I can say that every day. Just C is really a dude who pays attention to detail. It's not how he said, it's what he's saying. I think most people don't get. It's just a message for real, and he cares so much. It's actually crazy. I never know a guy could, care so much about basketball and compete at everything. And it's contagious, and that's what it built in me as well. And just having him as a teammate and the experiences that he's went through and teaching me the little things has helped me, man, and it's working. So, I know what I'm saying. Just.
Do you feel like you can pay that back? I get another win.
DeAndre Ayton there, the focus of our winning performance, fueled by Gatorade. 19 points and 22 rebounds, which is the third most a Sun has ever recorded in the postseason. The other two ahead of him, both by our guy Charles Barkley in the NBA playoffs. More importantly, Ayton, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, they're all one win away from the NBA Finals, and they can close it out as soon as Monday night in Game 5 back in the desert. I want to look at this from the Clippers' point of view, Sam. This was such a uniquely grimy sort of game, the lowest scoring game in the NBA all season long. Is there anything from this?
What's wrong with that?
No, I didn't say there's anything wrong with that. I just said stating a fact. Is there anything from this that should make the Clippers think, well, we can't solve that problem? Do you feel like they're done, or is there still life left in LA?
Well, I think we've seen with this Clipper team, when they're down, that's when they've been at their best, when their back's against the wall, and definitely their back's against the wall. But I just think they got to get more ball movement. When you watched how they played tonight, just too much one-on-one. It was your turn, my turn, someone else's turn. And Ty Lue talks about this all the time. The ball got to move. And I just think it's too much dribbling. And look, we understand they got great three-point shooters, and the way they play is dribble penetration, get to the hole, and move the ball. But what Phoenix is doing is they're collapsing, they're taking away their dribble penetration. And now when you spray the ball, this is the playoffs. Everybody's playing hard. No one's leaving nothing in the tank. So it's not going to be like, oh, man, I'm slow getting to my rotations. No, you are going to get to your rotation because you're focused and locked in. So they're going to have to set better screens. They got to do some things a little different. Look at Phoenix tonight. They didn't score particularly any better, but if you look at the quality of shots they got compared to the Clippers, you understand now why Phoenix won this game.
Yeah, the Clippers did move the ball a little better in the third quarter. The last two games they've played much better in the third quarter, but it got stagnant late.
The fourth
obviously, the fourth quarter, yeah. Obviously, the numbers bear that out. For Phoenix, for the most part, these guys have not been in this situation. How important is it for them to have Chris Paul on their side, trying to close out a good team?
I mean, it's extremely important. And we heard all the guys come to the podium talking about, the coaching, but also talking about the messaging that Chris Paul has been giving them. And it, to me, it's refreshing to hear guys now coming to the podium really talking about coaching as opposed to talking about points, rebounds, and assists in terms of the numbers. And they're talking about their growth, their maturation, how the coach inspired them, how the coach really got on them and pulled more out of them. I mean, this is what sports, the way I've been taught and coached, is really all about. It hasn't necessarily been that way for years, where we've had players come to the podium and talk about how great of coaching they have been getting. The last couple of years, it's been all about the numbers, and we focus so much on the numbers. But now I think this is a new thing that's happening in the league right now, where the players are actually saying, hey, the coaching that I'm getting is actually benefiting me and helping me personally.
What, they giving coaches credit for a change finally? I thought, hey man, we saw one team start the year, we don't need a coach. It's a collaboration. It's amazing how, and you and I just laughed about that.
Yeah, they out, right?
Yeah, all right.
We just get a sense that the Suns, the players and the coaches, really appreciate each other and really are there. I mean, there's no reason not to enjoy this ride, but have enjoyed the entirety of the season.
Well, you're in it together.
Yeah.
Well, there used to be what we called value-based coaches, where they coach the person and they develop the person. And if you develop the person, then he can become a better basketball player. But if you got a bad person, you can't trust him, and therefore he can't really operate your system. And we have coaches now in the league that right now are more value-based coaches that don't show up on the statistics or the analytics charts, but it shows up in your personhood and your growth, which makes you a better person, which makes you a better basketball player.
Think about this, man. How do you measure that little bit extra something that a player gives you that he don't know he has it? And Zeke could tell you this, is certain coaches can pull that out.
Yep.
I played for Bill Musma. If Muss told us to run through that spot on the wall and he picked the spot, we would do it because we knew it was a soft spot. Like, we trusted him that much. And so it's something to be said. I played for coaches who you do that for, and you don't even realize it till afterwards. And I played for coaches, and I thought I played hard. When you look back, it's just something about them. They just couldn't pull that little extra something, that 1% extra that gets you one step closer to a contest. They couldn't pull that out.
Well, they seem to have found that 1% in Phoenix, and they are one win away from the franchise's first NBA Finals in 28 years. Closeout chance on Monday night, Game 5 in Phoenix. That'll wrap up our post-game coverage here. Of course, you can catch every bit of those press conferences on NBA.com.